So, I had the pleasure to sit down with Adam, who started the free SMMA course back in February of 2023. And now, 8 months later, he has generated over $100,000. It's insane. And his business is now generating more than $25,000 every single month. And in this interview, he's going to tell you his story, exactly how this happened. And hopefully, it will inspire you to take massive action yourself as well. So, without further ado, let's just dive right into the interview. All right. So if you could just tell us a little bit more about your agency, kind of what service you have, what niche offer, your pricing model, and let's start there.
Yeah, so I'm in the solar industry, or niche you can call it. And I started this back in, I want to say February is kind of when I chose a niche. Originally I was in the roofing industry and I was running B2B ads on Facebook. And out of these B2B ads, I was getting a lot of people who were actually solar reps wanting leads. And so when I saw this demand for a lot of solar reps needing leads, I just made the switch in about March. And then since then, I've just kind of been scaling my business via Facebook ads. And that's pretty much is what scaled my business to like 25K a month. And then the offers I'm running two different offers. So I either have a retainer plus the ad spend with an ROI guarantee after 30 days. And so if they're not able to see a return on their investment, we'll just work for free until they do. Similar to yours, the one that you talk about in the course. And then I also have just a pure pay per performance model. And so with this, they're only paying as the leads come in. And I'll send them a weekly invoice every Sunday. And so this model does have a one-time setup fee of $500. And then the pay per lead cost, depending on the market, of anywhere from $20 to $35.
Okay, nice, man. So
Yeah.
that's a good deal. So you basically started off trying to monitor or like advertise directly to solar companies, but then you started to see that a lot of actual solar reps wanted the leads instead, and then you kind of shifted towards just helping them essentially.
No, so I was originally in roofing, and then I
Okay,
saw solar companies and reps needing leads. And that's kind of what led me down the path of just working with solar only.
gotcha. Cool. All right. And how do you find this pricing model works where you charge only $500 up front and then they pay 20 to, you said $35 per lead, right? That will put some, it basically, you will have to produce some like low quality leads then to be able to resell them to that, I guess, right? Do you
Yep.
pay, do you pay for your own ad spend, or like, do they pay for the ad spend, or how does that work?
Yep. So I introduced this model after I kind of figured out how much it cost me to generate a lead in certain markets. And so, like, for example, if somebody was wanting to work in the Florida market, it cost me around $15 to generate this lead. And
Nice.
so I would go back to them and say it's gonna be $30 a lead. So I'll cover the ad spend and all they have to do is pay a flat fee of $30 per lead. And so it
Oh,
makes it pretty simple for the companies, when you're just telling them, hey, it's gonna be a flat price. You don't have to worry about the price per lead adjusting, maybe one day it's 20, maybe the next day it's $14. So it just
nice
keeps
one.
it simple in that pay per lead model. And it's exponential. For example, with a retainer, your revenue's pretty much cut off. It's a
Yeah.
flat fee. But with the pay per lead model, you're actually able to pretty exponentially scale it, especially if you're working with a pretty big company and they need, 20 to 30 leads a day. It's a lot of revenue that you can make that you might have not been able to make with the ad spend model.
Awesome. Like I know that a lot of people that watch this, they're wondering how do you get started? How do you learn the ads? There's so many question marks, and I'm sure that you've been through those question marks yourself. But before we kind of dive into that, you said that you started in like February or March, somewhere in that range, right? Where were you kind of, or when you started, were you starting with a completely blank slate, no previous experience at all? And how much have you been able to grow your business to now? You said 25K. Is that kind of where you are right now?
Yep, that's kind of where I'm hitting per month right now. In June, I
That's
actually
awesome.
created a new Stripe account. I rebranded my agency, everything, and since June, I think I sent you a screenshot, but we're around 100K revenue. So
That's amazing,
it's
man.
I don't know where that averages out to. I think 25K a month almost, but no,
Mm.
yeah. And to answer your previous question, no, I haven't had any experience in the agency niche before I finished your course. Your course, I think I finished it in December. late December, early January. And after that, I just took action. I set up everything, all the meta pixels, the logo, website. And so that's kind of what I was doing in January, just making sure I had everything set up. And then February, actually, what I first started doing was actually cold calling businesses, roofing companies. I would call about 100 per day. And this didn't really work out too well. It was pretty hard to kind of convince somebody, I should say, to work with you when you have like no prior experience, anything like that.
Yeah.
And I was really getting creative with my offer as well. I was just doing like a retainer plus ad spend with no like guarantees or anything like that. So in the beginning, it's tough. I would say to sell the typical agency model. In the beginning, I would recommend everybody to get pretty creative when it comes to how you want to price things out. In the beginning, actually, how I got a lot of my clients and built relationships was actually offering models that didn't make me money at all. So I think I started doing like 10 leads for $250 in any like market. And a lot of the times I would break even or even lose like 50 to 100 bucks sometimes. Sometimes I would make money, but it was really just about building that business book of clients who would, down the line maybe vow for you if, you had a person you're going to bring on, just send them your number and they just get to talking and whatnot. And that's how I got my biggest client actually is just from referrals and
Yeah.
people putting in that good word for me.
But that must feel pretty crazy for you, like looking back, that you started with literally like nothing. And because I remember you in the community, you were one of those guys who just you dove into it, you took massive action, and you got results pretty quick as well. What
Yep.
would you kind of attribute that success to? And what does it feel like right now when you're looking back? Like you're making 25K per month, and I'm sure like you feel like you're just getting started, but it's still like from making 25K per month. That's
Yeah.
really
It's pretty
awesome.
crazy, honestly. It's pretty surreal that I've been able to change my life within less than a year, just after watching
Yeah.
your course. And I tell like a lot of my friends what's been happening too, and they're like, "How did you get started?" And I just tell them like, I watched a free course, and if you take action, that's pretty much that's all you need to watch that course and just go from there. So it feels pretty surreal. Like I said, I thank you a lot for even providing that course because a lot of people will gatekeep a lot of the information behind like thousands of dollars per course, and even then, sometimes the courses aren't that good. But yeah, it's pretty surreal. And I forgot your other question.
No, I guess I was just and I appreciate you saying that. And what I feel like is very fun about thing or very what's going to be cool about this in the future is that see all of the people and see where they go with all of this information. Because I can just pretty much just put out the information out there, but it requires somebody like yourself who actually does something with the information. And from talking to different people now who've got different results, it's always people to take action. And so most people sit on their own keys to like make it happen. You just need to do this stuff. Like you can find the information everywhere. You just need to actually do something about it. So yeah.
Yeah, we live in an age where like you can literally learn anything that you want
Yeah. It's insane.
for free. And I don't think a lot of people, I think people understand that, but I think there's a part of them that's kind of scared just to take action.
Mm.
And always trying to find a way out. And even I struggle with this, I've been trying to start my YouTube back up for a couple months, and I think you just need to take action because everything is there for you. You just really have to take that first step.
Where do you think you find that motivation though to make things happen and to kind of to go for it?
I would say it really just comes down to like how bad do you want it. You know, what probably drives me the most is just the fear of being average. Like I've never wanted just to work a regular job. 9 to 5, clock in, clock out at like 5 p.m. Come home, and then you only get like 2 or 3 hours to hang with your loved ones. So probably that, like I don't want to live that type of lifestyle. And I would probably say just the fear of living like that has probably driven me the most to kind of become financially free.
Nice man. And how old are you, by the way, Adam? I haven't asked you that before.
I'm 19. I just turned
Uh,
19 in June. So
okay,
pretty
that's crazy, man. You're setting yourself up a good life
yeah.
ahead. So
Yep.
cool. And also, what I really liked when you talked about your service, where like in the beginning you weren't like afraid of actually losing a bit of money up front to. And did you do that by design? Did you know that like if I do this right now, I'm gonna be able to build relationships, or did that just kind of happen organically, or? Was it
Yeah.
just a part of
So
the journey, or?
in the beginning, my mindset was more of I just need to get as many people on board as possible. Because number one, this is going to be able to prove my services. It's going to be able to tell me my cost per lead if what I'm doing is actually valuable,
Yeah.
and what I end up charging people. And so that's when I was testing different pricing models, and getting pretty creative. And I think the first 2 months I was actually in business, I didn't make a single dollar. I ended
Mm.
up losing like 2 grand. And so heading into June, I was actually it got pretty tight. Like I was almost bankrupt, you can call it. And so June, we had a pretty big month, and that kind of saved us. And it's been upward since. But no, I would say in the beginning, it was more of just I need to get as much experience as I can. So
Yeah.
later down the line, I can have testimonials, I can have the experience media buying, and I can know what I can charge for my services. So that's what I would
Gotcha.
say in the beginning, I was primarily focused on.
So where do you feel like it kind of clicked? Where it's like, oh, now it's finally starting to, you mentioned June where you start to get some positive momentum. What was it that you tweaked? Was it like you found the offer that people really wanted to buy, or was it that you started to generate results for people? Or
No, it was what really clicked is I began working with a giant company in the United States, here in the States, giant solar company. And what had clicked was I was working with a rep in that company. And then he referred me to another friend who was a top rep in that company. And then that top rep had good connections with like the CEOs of this company.
yeah.
And so all three of them put in good word. And then from there, I've been working with this really massive company, and I got them in the pay per lead model, and they've been getting 20 to 30 leads a day. And
Yeah.
so after you factor in the ad spend, that's pretty much what saved me in June, is just getting that connection with that big company. Um, and then from there, just reinvesting all of that money back into the ads. And then from there, you have all of the testimonials, you have everybody who can, vouch for your services. And then after that, it becomes pretty easy to get people to sign up with you under,
Yeah.
the lead or the retainer model. So I would
Awesome.
say what really clicked was when 2 to 3 months in, I wasn't making any money. I was doing good business. I never scammed anybody, never stole anybody's money. In many cases, I ended up replacing leads for free out of my own pocket. And so I would say, during those periods of time where I wasn't making money and just kind of putting my own money on the line to make sure my clients were happy, I
Yeah.
would say it clicked when, a person knew a person who knew a person. And then, they put in a good word for me. And then, that connections are everything. So I would
Yeah.
say that probably is what made it click, is just getting in touch with some powerful people.
Awesome. And like, but here's the thing as well, like if a referral never happens unless you're getting good results for people. And that's kind of
Yep.
my mantra that I've had in my head since I started, is that results is everything. The one who provides most value wins, essentially. And this sounds exactly like that, right? You made everything, you put in everything into it to get good results for your clients. And when you did that, that's when people actually start to talk to you, or talk about you rather, and then you start to get referrals and more business that way.
Yep.
Um, is that the only way you get new clients right now? Because that's something I know that a lot of people will want to wonder as well. Like, how do you get clients? Like, you just mentioned cold calling and stuff like that in the beginning. Do you still do that, or do you just focus on results right now and try to get like referral stuff?
No, so the primary way I get all my clients right now is actually advertising on Facebook through my own
Nice.
agency. And kind of how I structure the ads. I know I've been getting a lot of questions on this, is just put your offer in, a picture, and however, this is what I do personally. However that may be, just make sure the offer sounds attractive. And put a front end offer which sounds really attractive and lucrative. And then on the back end, when you actually call people about the offer, that front end offer that they're going to ask questions about, you actually make sure that the other offer you want to actually sell sounds better. So you might include, an RI guarantee, however it may be. But I would make sure to have a good front end offer. And then when you go in to tell these people about the back end offer, that you try to make the front end offer look not as good as the offer you're trying to sell. But
Gotcha.
no, I run all B2B ads pretty much to get all my clients.
Gotcha. Nice one. So basically, then, like, your philosophy for ads is just to be straight to the point with that. Make sure that people understand something and have something to dingle in front of their eyes that they truly want, and be unique and stand out in some way, shape, or form, and get people coming in that way. And then you just you get them on the phone, and then you present them with like your real offer.
Yep. This
Yeah.
biggest thing is probably just getting people through the door, just so you can even practice your sales scripts. But
Yeah.
yeah, getting people through the door, and then once you break down the offers to them, a lot of times it makes sense to them, and yeah, you just go from there. I
Cool.
also have the ability, so I use Go High Level to run some different automations. So I use all Facebook lead forms for my B2B ads, and so whenever somebody clicks submit, they'll automatically get sent a text message letting them know that I'll be in touch soon. And then it also says, if you want, go ahead and book an appointment right now to reserve a slot. And then that
Yep.
links into my website, and I get a lot of booked appointments through that as well. And then after they book an appointment, if they do, I also lead them to like a VSL, or I guess you can say a page where I kind of break down how the services work, along with some client testimonials.
Got you. So it's not like a traffic to landing page to video to book a call, but it's like you get their information with a Facebook lead form, and then they get follow-up text messages that can kind of pinpoint them to the calendar or to VSL, or you just call them. And
Yep,
yeah,
exactly. And so if they don't end up booking an appointment after like I would say 15 minutes, then I'll end up just calling them. And so at
gotcha.
that point, it's like a warm cold call, because you're not just calling them out of the blue. They've
Yeah,
actually, submitted their information to get more information on your services. So that I'll just end up calling them if they don't book an appointment.
gotcha. Nice. And how do you like running ads for your clients? Is that something you do yourself as well, or do you have a media buyer for that? Or
Yep. And so I've set this up pretty different to, I think, a lot of other people. So the thing with solar is a lot of these guys don't actually have access to their company's business pages, because a lot of solar reps are just employees for the company, you can call it. So I saw this as an issue, and the way I kind of worked around it is I run all of the ads through one centralized page. And so to differentiate everybody's leads and make sure everybody's getting their own leads, I just create separate ad sets within one campaign. And
okay.
so I will change the lead forms in each ad set to make sure each person is getting their own leads. And so with the lead forms, I'll just title them the client's name. And then on the back end and Go High Level, I will just map the field through Facebook. I think integrations, if you go to settings, Facebook formatting, just make sure you map each person's field. That way they're firing whenever somebody does fill out a lead form, and then set up a separate automation for each client. That way each client is getting their own leads, and it's all through one page. If I didn't lose you on that, it's kind
No,
of complicated, but it makes it pretty easy because whenever I sign a client, I don't have to go through hours of
yeah,
onboarding. It's just I create their campaign separately.
yeah.
And yeah, so
Cool. No, it makes sense. So you have a generic page that you run all of your clients' traffic from, and then you have also then one high level account you said, right? And then you have all of the different Facebook lead forms mapped in
yep,
your one high level, and then you have different automations for each sales rep. That
yep.
makes sense. Must be a
And
cool way to kind of structure all of your clients as well, like in one place where you can
yeah,
see.
it makes it easy for the media buying sense of things, where you don't have to go into each ad account and check the performance. Like all of their performance is just right there in one
Yeah.
campaign. So, but I do set up separate sub accounts for my clients if they ask. It's not a service that everybody wants, but if they do want a sub account, I just created a snapshot, so it's pretty easy. Everybody's snapshot is the same, and
Yeah.
so I link everything. And yeah, so I do some sub accounts, but some people don't want it. So, but yeah.
I really like how you've positioned your agency because like we're in that same space, and sometimes we get called from like sales reps, individual sales reps, and we've always been like, no, like we can only work with the company because we need access to, like, we need to be able to give them a sub account and access to the Facebook manager and all of that.
Yep.
But it's very smart of you to, that's kind of how you position your business then, that we only work with the reps, and then you build the service for them. And it sounds very obvious now when you tell me that you can just run everything from one ad account and one sub account instead of high level, but that's very creative to do it, and it's a very smart solution to it. It's
Yep.
cool.
It's definitely saved a lot of hours. And we do work with some company owners as well, and it's pretty much the same deal. I think with solar, the biggest thing is not really branding, it's just getting people through the door. As opposed to roofing or the home improvement niche, you obviously want to build your brand. But with solar, I would say company owners more care about just getting leads, really real time quality leads. And so we even do work with some owners and use the same business model, and it works
Okay,
perfectly fine for them. So,
that's
but
cool.
yeah,
How do you find the SMMA business model? Do you find it like to actually run and to serve your clients? It is a very results-based business, right? Like you have to like
yeah,
produce results. It's not only once, but it's like a continuous thing. Do you
yep,
find that stressful? Can you like how do you find the actual business model to run?
yeah. It's pretty stressful when it comes to the fact that after a lead comes through, you can't really do much. All we can do on our end is provide the leads.
Yeah,
Some people do appointments, but pretty much all you can do is provide the leads, and how those leads perform afterwards isn't really up to you. And so I would say that's probably the biggest downfall, or I should say con of running an agency, is that a lot of the times the results, you can provide leads, but what happens after that isn't really up to you. So I would say that's
yeah,
probably the biggest con, is just not being in control of fully in control of how the, results
yeah.
turn out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. But on the good side, Andy, it sounds like you're pretty confident like in your actual marketing and like getting the leads. It's more so that it's like the stressful thing is handing off the leads to them and just counting on them to actually do something with the leads.
Like making sure they have the correct follow-up, making sure,
Yeah.
they're not just giving after they call them once. But we can provide leads on our end. Just the only thing that would, potentially cause issues is just how they handle the leads after that.
Yeah. So that's a problem, right? Have you thought of, just out of curiosity, have you thought of a solution like to that actual problem?
The only thing we do on our end to really combat that is if a lead comes through and they're like, for whatever reason, if somebody put like a fake phone number in just to kind of see what would happen, is we'll actually replace that lead. And then if a lead comes through and they say that they're the homeowner and they're not, we'll also replace that lead.
Gotcha.
So those are kind of the two things we've done to, make sure people aren't getting leads that don't even have correct numbers, because that's kind of a waste of money. Um, as well as making sure they're even qualified to go solar by making sure they're the homeowner.
Gotcha.
So those are two things we've combated, but besides that, it's pretty hard to, if we replaced every lead that never picked up, we wouldn't make any money. So
Yeah.
it kind of it kind of gets complicated when trying to find a solution, but those two things have kind of helped just make sure our clients are happy.
Yeah. Like one thing that I thought would be super cool for your offer, since you're helping individual reps, would be to, have like a school community of your own where you can put all of your clients into, and maybe you can partner with a real good sales rep in the solar industry, and they create like sales training for people. So you create like a community for sales reps to spend time. And it's that something you've thought of, or
No, but that would be smart. I know a lot of agencies have like Facebook groups and stuff where they just
no?
push this free value and stuff, and it really just comes down to value. So yeah, that would honestly be smart, just to get one of my reps in there and maybe have them make a training module and whatnot. Just kind of how to work with the leads after they come in, I guess would be smart.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's cool because you're not only working with a business owner, right? That's busy doing everything, but you have like multiple reps. So it would be cool to have a community for a ton of reps.
Yeah,
Uh, cool. All right, let's talk a little bit about like challenges. Like this journey, I'm sure has not been like just like happy days and roses all the way through, right? I'm sure you've been through ups and downs and tough times. Maybe you're going through a challenge right now. I have no idea, but how has how has that been like, and how did you face those challenges, and how did you solve them?
yeah. So I would say the biggest challenge is just ensuring that you're providing good results, because me personally, I don't ever want somebody to leave my services and them, have a sour taste in their mouth. So like my biggest challenge is just ensuring that people actually get their money's worth. Because me personally, if I invested, thousands of dollars into something, I would want it to work. And so sometimes, potentially if somebody worked with us and they didn't end on the best note, it's just kind of hard for me to deal with that. And I always want to make sure my clients are getting the best experience. But I would say it's just making sure the probably hardest thing is just making sure that you're providing good results and satisfying your clients.
Awesome. Cool. Um, how did you find the course when you went through the course? Was it, or what did you even think of the course before you found it? Was it like, what is this free stuff? Or
Yeah.
like,
So, I think it was during Christmas break. I was just really bored because I didn't have school or classes or anything. And so I was just on YouTube. And before this, I had tried doing some Shopify stores. I own a couple of Instagram pages. So like I've always wanted to do something in this space. And so I was just on YouTube one night, just like researching business ideas and stuff. And I saw the SMMA niche come up. And so I was watching a couple of videos, and then the YouTube algorithm, it'll just recommend you stuff. And I came across your page. And I saw you, had a really good video, and that you also plugged the course in the description. I saw the course, and then the next day I was enrolled and just watching all of the videos. So
nice.
I just came across it on YouTube, after searching up how to get rich in 2023.
Gotcha. So, but you went through the course pretty quickly, or like did you dive
Uh,
straight into it and just took massive action, or did you have a while where like thinking about what to do, or
I think
uh,
I think I finished the course in like 2 weeks. The videos are kind of long, so it kind of gets hard to stay like motivated on it. But no, I finished it in like 2 weeks. And then after that, yeah, I just took massive action because I watched a super long course. I have all of this knowledge. It would kind of be a waste of time if I didn't even try. So no, yeah, I just took action right after I watched the course. I wanted everything to be fresh. I didn't want to forget what you taught. And so yeah, I just took action in January, set everything up, and then was ready to roll by February.
nice. All right. So let's say that there's somebody going through the course right now, and they are, they're thinking about the niche and the service, or they just want to get started to make money. Or like, what advice would you give that person? Like, or if you could give back to yourself, just give yourself some advice to save you from headache or from pitfalls that you've been through or whatever that might be.
I'm trying to think. I would
Yeah.
say if you're watching the course right now and are just kind of debating if you should do it, I would say, either make up your mind. This isn't something where you want to start watching videos for like 4 months and then, finally decide to do it. I would say as soon as you finish the course, take action, because if you don't, you're just going to get stuck in a phase where you're going to try to learn everything before you actually take action. And you learn the most when you actually start to take action and you get real life experiences. In
Mm.
my opinion, this is what actually teaches you the most. So rather than, just watching the course and not taking action and trying to feel like you need to know before you start, I would say just watch a course and then, just start learning by actually taking action and getting real life experiences from for how this niche works and your industry, how people react to your offer, if your offer works, how to media buy, how to create ads. I would just say take action, and then everything else will pretty much follow suit.
Cool. Yeah, there's a saying, right? That the man who knows but doesn't do, he doesn't know. So it's like you can learn as much as you want, but if you don't do anything, you don't really know anything either. So
Useless. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
So okay, you've gone from nothing, and then in 6 or 7 months or something like that, you've gone to $25,000 per month, which is insane. And you only have yourself to thank for that, for again just taking action on what you've learned. What is like your goal right now? Are you still driven? Are you still like hunting a specific goal? And if so, like what is it that you're kind of, what motivates you to achieve that?
Yeah, so I would say my main goal right now is just hitting 100K per month in the
Yeah.
industry. Um, so we're kind of far from it, but no, that's definitely what drives me, is just hitting that 100K mark per month. However it may be, if it comes to, creating affiliates, or, if it creates a course, however it may be, I really just want to hit that 100K mark. Rather, it might not all be from my SMMA. It could be through different revenue streams, but 100K a month is the goal I really want to hit right now.
Awesome. And do you feel like your current plan of kind of doing what you've been doing so far is going to be able to take you there? Or do you think, you just said that you could do different revenue streams, but when it comes to the SMMA, do you still feel like you have some more potential that you can kind of cram out from your current model to
Yeah,
get further? Yeah.
I think we can definitely hit 50K.
Yeah.
But I think the other half of it is going to be coming from providing value to others for
Mm.
free. So similar to what you did, I think this is the route that I need to start to take. And I think this is what's going to get me to that 100K mark on top of
Yeah.
the 80.
Awesome. You definitely should. And let's talk about that for a bit. Or you can tell people before we kind of end the interview, um, tell people a little bit about where people can learn more about you and what you can share with people, because you're sitting a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge that people want to learn about. Because sometimes, people not only want to learn from the people who have been doing it for years or whatever. Learning from somebody who's like been through it like right now can even be more valuable. So where can people learn more about you? And do you have any plans for the future to teach people about stuff? And if so, what and where?
Yeah, so I currently have a YouTube channel. It's my name if you can see it right there, Adam Ayase. It's kind of hard to spell, but I have a channel. I think I have 4 videos on there just kind of breaking down some simple topics. But if you guys want to learn more just about me, I would definitely recommend going to that channel. And then in these next few months, I plan on creating more content for you guys and just creating a free course similar to Max, just providing all the knowledge I know, and how you can truly go from 0 to 25K a month in SMMA without needing tens of thousands of dollars to scale. But
Nice,
yeah,
man.
pretty much just go to my YouTube channel if you guys want to learn more about what I do.
Nice. Let us know once it's done, and we will be able to share it to people in the community as well. So
Yeah,
cool.
for sure.
Nice. Is there anything like any final things that you want to share with the people watching, or could be anything that's on
Yeah,
your
I would
mind?
say if you're watching the course and you're just debating, whether this is for you or not, I would just make up your mind and take action because you don't want to get stuck, like 4 to 5 years down the line regretting not taking action when you could have. And then you might potentially be in a spot where, if you had taken action when you could have, you wouldn't be in that spot. So I would say just take action now because you don't want to end up being in a spot where you're going to regret being there, I guess, is
Awesome.
say.
Awesome, Adam. Pleasure talking with you. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with you over the next 6 months. Who knows? Maybe you do 150K or 200K within the next 6 months. Who
Yeah.
knows? Awesome. Great talking to you. And we'll talk soon again.
Yep.